Hello. Good evening. Thank you for the pat. Also, thank you for the hydrate time. That I did not yet do actually. Hold on. I'm hydrating very not. Yes, very good English as well. Jesus Christ. Hi, it is Sunday. It is Sunday and I didn't do much today, but that is alright. Thank you, Miku. Good morning to you too. Right, remember how I said that I said my Miku Tamagotchi to the wrong time? I sure as hell did. So this Miku thinks it's 8 in the morning and that's her wake up time apparently. Well, so for however long as these batteries will go, I will probably... we will probably get interrupted by funky Tamagotchi noises. I have no idea. It's been such a long time since I cared for Tamagotchi, but it's okay. Oh yeah, welcome in everyone. We real new with the real Tamagotchi, the realist. She's hungry as hell. Damn, you good. I wonder what outfit I'm actually gonna get. I have no idea. She is wearing something different, but I honestly cannot tell you which one of these dresses that is. Fascinating. I need to look that up at some point. It's a Hatsune Miku Tamagotchi Nano. It's one of the 3. I didn't get the limited edition because I had completely forgotten about it actually, but if you search for Hatsune Miku Tamagotchi Nano, it's the more greenish colored one. There's 2 of them. 2 normal versions, and then there was also a limited release. But I was too late. I can show you. I can show you. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, goodness gracious, what's happening? Oh god. Oh. Killing my computer, that's what it's doing. Okay, I am not showing off the Hatsune Miku Tamagotchi because apparently OBS doesn't like me doing that. It's an actual Bandai one, yeah, official, an official one. Like brand name. It's cute. The nanos don't have that much depth to them as the normal Tamagotchis. So I was open able to say, except for shell and sprites. Well, they work the same, basically. So like, there were also, and I'm so mad that they didn't bring those outside of Japan. Like, I understand, but I'm also mad. There was also a really big Sanrio collaboration a few years back with the big, the normal Tamagotchis, not nanos, where you could get a few of the well-known normal Tamagotchis, but also Sanrio characters. So you could get Hello Kitty, you could get My Melody, Kurumi. I honestly don't remember who was all included, and like they were so cute. And you know how with the big Tamagotchis you can actually like build a whole family of them? Like the Tamagotchi Nano, this one doesn't do that, but normal size Tamagotchi, they grow up to be adults, and then you can actually like marry other characters, and they will have Tamagotchi children together, so you grow them, blah blah blah. 3 Tamagotchis in a family. Yeah, the Tamagotchi. Honestly, I'm not that well versed in Tamagotchi, so don't take it without a grain. Like, take what I say with a grain of salt. But the Tamagotchi Family-chi is where they, I guess, kind of introduced the whole thing, because that's the whole branding of that one. And the Tamagotchi Family-chi is still very much released in Europe, because I had one of those when I was a child. we had the Generation 4. The Generation 4 was that when the big Tamagotchi boom was here, where you could get Tamagotchis at Aldi, like the actual official ones, and everyone and their mother bought them at Aldi, and all of the girls in class would have them. And I remember every single girl in my class had the pink one at the time, and I had the white one with, oh my god, I don't remember his name, Kepachi, the green guy on it. I still have that. And then we had the generation after, Generation 5 was the Tamagotchi Family Tree. The Tamagotchi Family Tree, which had a bigger shell, a bigger screen, and the whole, you have the entire family in your home all the time. Where the Tamagotchi is like, once you have an adult and they do have a child, the adult at some point goes away because you're now raising this child, that kind of thing. But the Family Tree had the whole family. And Generation 4 had an online website, which is now long lost, where you could actually connect, like you would connect, and your Tamagotchi would give you a funny little code, and then you could put that in on the website, and there were so many cool mini games, and you could get items. Yeah, Generation 4, that's what I'm talking about. Generation 4 had that website, and you could actually get items on that website and then put in codes again, and you would get those items on your Tamagotchi, and there were some really exclusive things on there. It was so good, and I didn't understand as a child that those codes would be like, you generate one code and then you have to use it, and I would just generate like 1,500 codes, and then I would try to use them, but obviously it didn't work. Like, as soon as you generate a new code, the old one doesn't work. And the website would take ages for me to load. You would get, like, the loading screen was this website in space, a Tamagotchi planet, which also has a face and everything. I miss it. I miss it so bad. And I do think Generation 5 also was able to still access the... Now, I think Generations 3 and 4 were able to access that website or something. And then afterwards, after the Family Tree, as far as I'm aware, keep in mind that I was a child at the time, so I could be wrong, that the hype that kind of died down here, and then they didn't release most Tamagotchis outside of Japan for the longest time. They only very recently started releasing some outside of Japan again, and even then only in the Americas. And also with like app support and everything again, but only in America. So I have 2 of those. They're really pretty, and I can never remember what they're called. But I can't like use the app because I don't have an American account, right? Which is kind of sad, because the like community still is alive. Like, most people I've found who are actively into Tamagotchis, like collectors and everything, are on Instagram of all places. There's so many people on there. Crazy to me. The Kingdom Hearts. To be fair, initially when I got mine, I did take care of one. I would only activate one of them, because I knew if I had 2 of them I would go crazy, and I would take it everywhere. I do genuinely still have pictures from when I went out with friends at the time, and we would get food and we would take pictures. The Tamagotchi wasn't all of those pictures because I insisted on getting the Tamagotchi in it. But I think the battery is dead on that one already anyway, so it's kind of hard to like actively care for them while you're at work or some places where you can definitely not just go, oh hey, let me check on my Tamagotchi real quick, like, fuck. Hi Hopi, also hi time, good evening. There's a lot. The most of the collaboration ones are just the nano ones, though. The small ones where it's just, hey, you can raise the characters from that series or whatever, the ones that go really in depth. Like they literally, there's Tamagotchis nowadays that have a camera, a fully functional camera in them, which is crazy. There's also full colored ones, all that jazz. Very interesting. But I have so many hobbies that cost me enough money already. I'm not gonna get into that more. I literally just got the Miku one because it was on sale. And it's cute to have. Like, even if the battery dies at some point, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. But yeah, let's focus on what we're actually here to do, which is spend Christmas. Take dating our girlfriend and having her run out on the family because, well, not fun. An old Game Boy Pokemon game. Yeah, basically. Bright lights on my closed eyes are enough to shock me awake from my sleep at the table. Groggily, I rub my eyes and attempt to shield them from the brightness. My neck's so stiff from the awkward pose, I can barely bend it. What time is it? 2 a.m. apparently. According to the save point. Mike, who seemed to have forgotten I was sleeping here, meets my gaze and immediately apologizes under his breath. He goes back to whatever he was doing.
All good?
Not really.
It's getting late.
His tone is enough to alert me. With a start, I stand up, glancing at the wall clock. It's nearly 2 a.m.
She's not back yet?
I was gonna go drive and see if I can find her. She left her phone here, so I can't call.
Oh, that's fucked up. Just saying what this game was about. Well, our person on the left here is our main character. Has trouble getting through college. You choose one of 2 classes and actually get closer to the president of said class to make it through college, to improve your grades. Also quite a lot more, but that's as quick of a summary as I can give you. Thank you. Yes. Every spoken line is voice acted. I don't register anything else once I hear that. Already dressed and ready to go, I go over to the front door and take my coat off the hook.
I'll go out and find her.
He looks me in the eyes for a while, the concern he showed for Millie being directed to me at me as well.
You think you know where she is?
I have an idea.
I have a pretty good idea, yeah.
He pauses. Without further comment, he just nods, putting his keys back on the shelf.
Stay safe.
I will.
I mean, you guys could exchange phone numbers, so I could call and, you know, worst case. No. Just my parents who always insist on getting the numbers of friends I'm staying with, just in case. There she is. Hi. Striding up the long road, it looks like I was right on the money. Millie stands on a bridge, arms on a railing, and a beer can in hand. A few more sit on the back beside her, a couple already empty. Woo. I make my way beside her and take a can for myself. There's a strange serenity to all this. As I sip a bit of beer, the moonlight's reflection almost seems to glow on the calm water surface. Aside from the rare passing car behind us, we're entirely alone out here.
Mind if I join you?
She gives a simple shrug. Millie looks completely burned out as she stares out over the slowly flowing river, barely having acknowledged my arrival. Her voice is quiet and husky when she speaks.
Dad doesn't like me drinking around him, and I really needed to get out of there.
That's valid. She swirls the can around in her hand, almost empty.
Alone?
That was the whole point of all this. To me, it was. She barely gives me a glance, a jaded look that stops me right in my tracks from pushing more on the top. I have a slight feeling she actually has some semblance of an alcohol problem, not gonna lie. Like, her go-to whenever anything is happening is drinking. Every time she hangs out, oh god, why can I not remember names? The mechanic girl, they also only go drinking. It's like, two of us stand in silence for a while as snow begins falling. Much as I'd like to comfort Millie, I don't know how to open the conversation. We both know the problem, or rather, the many problems, that she has right now. Maybe just being around is enough. Both of us grew up with a single parent, but beyond that, our lives have gone in such different directions. Mine ended up so simple, pared back as much as it possibly could be. Just me and Mom eking out a living. Every day, I come back to an empty apartment. The more time I spend with Millie, the more complex I see her life has become, to the point where it's overwhelmed her. From a club disintegrating beneath her, to losing her mom, to the wedding and Caprice's reaction to it, to losing the friendship they once had. I might want to help Millie untangle the vines constricting around her, but I don't know where to start. I'm not even sure if I can. The two of us drink, alone together on the bridge between our old life and the new.
None of this is your fault.
She gives a cynical snort.
Talk to me, please. I can't do much, but I can listen at least.
What do you want to hear, Olive? More riveting tales about my dead mom? How sorry I am for being a terrible daughter? Maybe you just want to know more about why that stupid club is crumbling beneath my feet. Or is this talk about how I wrapped you, the last person who gave me any sense of normalcy, into this big performative lie?
She turns to me, her voice rising, drops of beer flying out of the can. I stand there and take it, even as she gets angry and even as she begins to take it out on me.
Let's get it all out there! After all, everything is Millie's fault. She's the bad guy. Why can't she just accept things as they...
She catches herself, stopping to stare at me as I look back in stoic silence. The regret on her face is clear.
I'm sorry.
Millie cradles her head in her hands and leans back into the railing. It reminds me of a scared child hiding from a storm.
I'm so sorry. It's all just... It's so hard.
I know it is.
You must hate me now. Just like everyone else.
I don't.
You regret spending Christmas here at least.
No.
I don't feel that way either.
I'm glad that we're here to be spending Christmas with her so she doesn't have to handle all of this on her own. Ooh.
I just want to listen, Millie.
Where do I even begin?
Wherever you want.
Caprice seems like a good start.
Millie's face sours.
She's so... I don't understand why she...
Ever the writer, Millie edits herself in real time, searching for the right words.
She treats everything like some childish rivalry between us. I'm desperately trying to hold my life together, but does she care? It's honestly hard to tell, because it's always about Caprice. What Caprice wants. She pulls everyone around her into her orbit, whether they like it or not. So, I do my best with it. It doesn't matter how much bending or verbal acrobatics it takes, I will always try to solve things delicately. There she is, thrashing around like a bull in a china shop, undoing the peace and normalcy people build for themselves. Once she gets excited, it's as if people's feelings don't even matter. Join the art club! Who cares if there's already a perfectly good one? Let me use the booth for your club! Oh, what do you know? Looks like we're gonna be family!
She chucks her beer can off the bridge. It lands in the water with a subdued and muted plop. Her breathing is heavy as she glares into the foggy distance.
Do you hate her?
I love her!
She looks back to me. Tears begin streaming down her face.
I love Caprice. I always have. She's my sister.
Millie throws herself into me, clutching me as tight as she can. Her sobbing is loud and painful, echoing down the bridge.
I hate this. Why can't everything go back to the way it was? I don't need our parents to be married for us to be family. I don't want a replacement for what I've lost. Why won't they understand that?
So awful as I feel, I remain silent. So many words came to mind, condolences, assurances. All of them feel unnatural and forced, and so none of them fill the air. I wish so badly I could give Millie the peace she deserves and the happiness to pursue it. But the stark truth that I'm forced to face as my coat damps with her tears is that I can't. There's nothing I can offer, only useless platitudes. I'm unequipped, out of my depth. So with the absence of any answers, I return the hug and hold her tight until eventually, mercifully, the trembling stops. I might not be able to fix everything, but I still want to help. I just want her to be happy no matter what it takes.
Hey, Millie? Let's head home early tomorrow.
She shakes her head, still wrapped in my arms.
I don't feel like I have a home to go to anymore.
You can stay with me if you want. For as long as you need.
I think I love you, Olive.
Words we said to each other before, in front of others to keep up our convenient lie. Now though, with no one to hear them but me, they sound totally different. My heart feels full to the brim and broken in two. I find it hard to piece together the right response, or if there's even a right thing to say at all in this moment. Eventually, however, 6 words come to me.
I think I love you too.
Woo! Act 3, Memories Made. No way, ain't no way I stopped this close to the end of the second act. Alright, maybe we'll finish Millie's route today then. When we told Mike we were leaving early, he didn't question it or protest. I wonder if Millie would have felt better if he did. I wonder if I'm supposed to actually click a button. Oh yeah, I am. The fine line between wanting your space and hoping your loved ones reach out for you is delicate, and it's one Millie has struggled to walk for a long, long time. My apartment is scarce. The heating is faulty at the best of times. It's loud during the night with the roads below ever active. But it's all I can offer her, and the best she's got. Hi! I'm good, how are you? Shivering from the cold morning air, I open the door to our home. We took the cat with us? A small welcome is enough to make me jump and instinctively hide my free hand poorly behind my back. Before her luggage she had originally taken for the trip and any of her own personal items she wanted to bring from her house, she had asked about Mr. Mo. My apartment allows small pets, and that was all she needed to hear before retrieving his carrier. That being said, I'm not sure if the word small best describes him, his friendly headbutt managing to push me back a step. Just slurring right now? Are you okay? Another sound of an opening door followed by the dragging of feet. Within seconds, Millie emerges from the hallway. She wipes some sleep from her eye, woken up by the commotion.
Good morning. You were out early.
Yeah. I was hoping to get back before you woke up.
Foiled by Mo.
Seems so.
Meow. Thanks for the commentary. She meets my dripping expression with a giggle.
If it's any consolation, I'd much rather still be sleeping. I take no joy in your defeat.
She punctuates her declaration with a very loud, very long yawn. Should we do Womba exercises? Probably. Actually, I should also take better care of my voice, but I don't. So here we are. It's something good to drink though, to soothe your throat and everything. When her hand comes down from her mouth and her eyes open, I notice them slowly drag downwards, settling on a modest bouquet hidden hastily behind my back. My eyes follow hers, choosing to stare at the bundle of flowers rather than dare to make eye contact as I stammer the words out.
I figured, well, if we're gonna do this for real, we should get our story straight.
I've been rehearsing this in my head since the idea came to me yesterday afternoon, and I still can't believe I'm going through with it.
So...
With a deep breath, I pull my arm out from behind me and shove it directly to my front as fast as I'm able. It's not an extravagant arrangement, but I tried my best to pick out something she'd like given what was available. I still can't bring myself to meet her eyes, choosing instead to train my gaze to the floor as I deliver my rambling.
I think I love you, Millie. I don't want things to end after a semester together. Would you like to go out sometime?
Yes! I keep my eyes firmly trained anywhere but her as I wait for a response. I don't know what I'm expecting. We had decided to make things legitimate out on the bridge and confirm things the morning after, but I still find my heart beating out of my chest regardless. I wait for an answer, but nothing ever comes. Did she not get what I'm trying to do? I was just being dumb? Wouldn't be the first time, I guess. How was I smooth in a fake relationship then? My mind goes blank as her hand envelops mine. My eyes finally shoot up and meet hers again. I'm met with a heavy blush, mirroring mine, I'm sure, and a large warm smile that I feel like I haven't seen from her in forever.
I'd love to.
Yes! I never responds past loosening my grip on the poor flowers, relinquishing them to the new owner. Only after they're out of my hands do I notice small imperfections from afar. Slide with a wilt on a single petal and unpleasant trim where a flower meets its stem. Nevertheless, Millie gazes to them fondly, slowly admiring them.
Guess that's that then.
What can I say? You won me over.
Even as she speaks, she never looks up to face me directly, still enamored by her gift.
That story of yours was something else, you know. That last chapter was a real tearjerker.
She cradles the bouquet in her arm, allowing her to easily remove a lone flower, a faded pink rose. With all of the care and tenderness that I lacked when shoving the flowers in her face, she gently presents it to me.
I'm really looking forward to see where you take it next.
Aww. I take the flower from her, our eyes finally meeting after a morning of active avoidance.
I'm not much of a writer, but I'll try not to disappoint.
My writing class is over. Done. With any luck, I'll never have to step inside our room again. Even after my passing grade, I still never felt confident in my ability to put words to paper. Not really. For the first time, though, I find myself excited to start on this story. How could I not be with a co-author like her? That's good. It's going great. How are we gonna clear up everything else, though? Several days later. The last rays of sunlight are just barely peeking in from the window, the cold writing club's room struggling to warm up again after the winter break. After moving out and finally getting some space to breathe from all the pressure in life, I thought the last thing Millie would want to do would be to start up the writing club again. Yet here we are, sticking to the same schedule she made before the break started. She sent out a message yesterday to the group to mixed reception. Heather was the first to reply, sending out a sarcastic yay. Sarah never responded, and Tanya sent in almost too many happy face emotes.
New year, new club, huh?
The same people.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I managed to sound optimistic, but nothing about Millie's smile seems hopeful.
Hey, come on. Don't disappear into your head. It'll be fine. Millie?
Sorry, I know you're trying to help. I don't want to get my hopes up. Not that I'm trying to be all doom and gloom, but I'm a little tired of trying to make it perfect just in case it'll resonate this time. Whatever will happen, will happen. I'm just going to enjoy it. That'll have to be enough.
Sounds good. Millie gives me a reassuring look, no fake smile or measured body language in sight. She takes a sip of coffee and gets back to tidying up the room. I can't think of a single thing that could be fun about leading this writing club. On the other hand, there must be something besides pride keeping Millie here. I mulled it over a bit, deciding not to press. Whatever it is, I'll find out soon enough.
Thank you 3 for making it. I know it's been a while, so how about we start with a simple warm-up exercise?
Ugh, I barely even like stretching. Can't we do one of those word games?
Yeah, Millie, I think this club is at its best when you act like a preschool teacher. How about we practice phonetics?
How about I shove your stupid fucking hatband down your throat?
Do you ever shut your...
Cut it out or leave. We're not doing this today.
Millie closes the book she was reading from, giving both Tanya and Heather a firm glare. Tanya sighs and mutters an apology, shifting to sit into a slightly more attentive posture. Heather scoffs, loudly. Heather doesn't only sound obnoxious, she is obnoxious. Like, her, from everything we've seen of her, that's just what she is.
Leave? And what? You'll stand here talking to an empty room?
I just want one meeting where we can try to be adults who share a common love for the craft.
My heart heart's bleeding. Really?
I'm not fighting with you, Heather.
We can just move on to that exercise.
Oh, you're still here. Failing another class?
Okay, Heather, you can leave.
Again with that? Then what? You'll kick out Tanya for not respecting the art enough? You're acting real high and mighty today. Darren's already bailed. You don't have anyone left to try and impress.
She says his name with extra vitriol. Something about Darren not being here seems to have sparked an additional ire on Heather. She harshly tells him head to the empty seat in the room. Still, she stands and takes a pen out of Millie's hands with motion. With a flourish, she writes her name on a club attendance sheet on the podium. Heather slams the door behind her on her way out, leaving Millie, Tanya, and I in a wake of tense silence. Wait, so she put her name down as attending and then just left? Okay. The rest of the club went by a little smoother, but Tanya was obviously out of it. Millie sprang back surprisingly quickly after Heather's exit, shifting into a couple short writing exercises before doing the group prom. The three of us took turns developing a story one paragraph at a time. Mostly. Millie wrote her paragraphs, and while I struggled to do a few lines, Tanya basically gave up after one sentence. Right at the end of the session, Darren texted in several times, apologizing for missing the meeting after a nap gone wrong. On her way out, Tanya invited Millie and I out to a bar. Millie declined, so here we are instead, at my apartment, home.
That's what I said! Can you even believe it?
Mr. Mole purrs pleasantly, sprawling out into Millie's lap and pushing his head into her hand with every pat.
That was...
Bad. Yeah.
He shrugs.
Are you doing okay?
She thinks over the question I had a few times, then she rests her head against mine, nuzzling slightly. Her hair soft and fluffy, smelling of coconut shampoo.
Yeah, actually. I am.
Okay.
It's good to be home.
The voice melts there as Mr. Mo gives a big yawn and stretches so wide he ends up halfway on her lap and mine. When we left the writing club, she didn't bother writing down a date for the next meeting. At first. Instead, we spoke about other things. What to do for lunch, how we'll need to buy paper towels, even just the weather. I settled in closer to Millie and run my hand over Mr. Mo's back, shedding his white fur all over the couch.
Thanks, by the way.
For what?
For bringing the coffee. And even if the meeting itself wasn't great, I still...
She pauses and shakes her head.
I just mean thank you for always doing your best alongside me, too.
Anytime. If we weren't dating, I'd probably be able to come up with a better response. To improvise whatever would make a good story, to give a reply to further our arcs. I'm not actually good at any of that. Thought of sharing how happy she makes me, how she gave me the strength, how comfortable this all is sitting together. It melts together into a tangled mess of new emotions that I don't have words for yet.
I love you, Millie.
Aww.
I love you too, Olive.
So cute. Few days later. When despite is particularly vicious today, the heater in my apartment not doing much to combat it. I'm having trouble even turning it on. It was a struggle to even get out from under the covers this morning and... just feeling well. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, have a good evening. Well, that's about as far as I've gotten so far. It's telling how eager Millie was to head out on her errands run for the day, despite how early it is. The rest of my morning has consisted mainly of sitting on my couch with static from the TV in the background, arms crossed, fully bundled up in my coat and scarf. I keep telling myself at this point I should just go out and do something, but I'm terrified of opening the door and it somehow being worse than this. Checking my phone for anything from Millie to see if she'll be coming back soon to no avail. Freezing cold aside, I'm hopeful getting out and about will help at least a little. As I continue to debate with myself what my next move should be, it's decided for me by a handful of sharp knocks on the door. It's definitely not Mom or Millie, and I can't imagine who else it could possibly be. It takes a minute, but I eventually work up the willpower to open the door and face the cold. Oh! Damn, I would have guessed wrong. It barely needs to crack open before the person on the other side makes themselves known. Hi.
Yo, happy holidays! Oh, shoot, were you heading out?
She was definitely near the bottom of the list of people I expected to come barging in. I shake my head, digging myself a little deep into my scarf in the process.
Just freezing to death. Hey, don't take this the wrong way, but how'd you get this address?
You know, just asked Millie about it yesterday. Told her I wanted to drop off a late Christmas gift.
That Christmas gift to you? Ah! Thank you. She shoves herself in. Normally I protest, but I'm just happy to be able to close the door and keep more of the cold out.
Oh, just so I'm not a liar.
She digs into her pocket a bit, eventually managing to fish out a crumpled dollar bill and 2 cough drops, which she offers me.
Aw, you shouldn't have.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Sure. So, I'm assuming you didn't show up just to clean out your pockets?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
She eventually finds a seat, choosing to lean against the armrest of the couch as she faces me. As I'm stuck standing for the next little while.
Club meeting was even more dour than usual.
Sure was.
I wanted to get the rundown about how the holidays went from you, since Millie's clammed up about it. I know you were there, as was the runt. You didn't snitch on me, did you?
There's that word again. It didn't really bother me much back when everyone was practically a stranger, but nowadays it's really starting to grate.
Do you call her that around Millie? Caprice, I mean.
Course I do. The two are at each other's throats. It's a show of solidarity.
I don't think you know Millie as well as you think you do.
You should probably stop.
What's this about all of a sudden? Did the family get-together make you turn heel that quick?
Whether intentional or no, she's doing a decent job of pressing my buttons. It's a real struggle to not start raising my voice.
Okay, look. Caprice screwed up. Or maybe she didn't, I don't know. But even if what she did made things worse, the point is she was genuinely trying. They both were.
What'd she do exactly?
Doesn't matter. Either way, the point being that the names aren't helping as much as you think they are.
Annie remains silent, eyes firmly focused on the floor beneath her.
It'll be fine, eventually. They'd had plenty of scuffles. What's another piled on top?
I don't know about that. This one felt different. Millie ended up storming out of the house afterwards. Was out all day and the day after, too. When I finally found her, she'd been drinking.
Evince from Tanya. This one not really intentional on my part.
That's probably my fault, huh?
She allows herself a deep breath before continuing. I started this conversation sort of frustrated, but I really didn't mean to get her to a state like this.
Those two started arguing before Millie was drinking age. I'd pass her a can every now and then when she went on one of her rants. A friendly enough gesture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, her birthday rolls around, and not long after, I take her out to my usual place after a particularly bad spat. She's flat on her face less than half an hour in.
Congratulations, you raised an alcoholic. That all checks out so far in my personal experience.
No biggie. I drive her home since I barely had anything at that point. The runt, Caprice, acts concerned, helps her in, thanks me for getting her home. The typical stuff you'd probably expect. All's well that ends well.
Except?
And then it happened again after a bout with her folks. Caprice is a lot less understanding that time around. Then a third, this time with a little scrape on Millie's knee from a small tumble she had. Nothing she wouldn't be able to walk off. Still, Caprice would have woken up their entire apartment complex with how much she was screaming. Wouldn't surprise me if she did. Millie stayed down to sleep, though, of course.
Well, there's that mystery wrapped up. The fact that Millie never actually caught wind of why Caprice acts the way she does around Tanya shows an impressive amount of restraint from all the involved parties.
Since then, I've just let her crash at my place when she goes too crazy. Easier to do that than deal with the yelling.
Also easier to do than maybe have a proper talk of what amount of alcohol is an okay amount of alcohol when emotionally compromised.
Yeah, Makes sense.
I don't know how to feel about all of this. Caprice's anger, Tanya's good intentions, Millie in general. It would be easy if there was a single element to point to as the source of everyone's woes, but it just doesn't exist, no matter how much I try and reach for one.
Anyway, guess it's about time to hit the road. Sorry for barging in. Don't let me keep you from your shivering.
She pushes herself up from the armrest, reaching up to pat me on the shoulder as she makes her way to the door.
Don't worry about it. Feel free to drop in whenever.
She gives a weak smile before closing the door behind her and leaving me alone once again. It's freezing, but maybe a short walk wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Right now, once Millie gets back, assuming she'd still be up for it. That sentence was longer than anticipated. Few days later.
Didn't you already eat?
Don't believe his lies. If he tricks you even once, it'll be months before you get any peace.
Oh no, look at his face! Mr. Moore stares up at me, his eyes wide as saucers. Stretches out his body long enough to knead at my socks before rolling over on his stomach. That is a fat cat, that's also why he's on a diet.
He looks so hungry, though.
Don't believe his lies.
He ate.
Thank you for the pat.
I'm wasting away.
You're doing voices for him?
I just need a little extra wet food to make it through the night.
Olive.
Sorry, buddy. Looks like she's willing to let you starve.
Doctor's orders, Mo.
She jingles a small toy in his direction, a red shrimp filled with catnip and a bell tied around its tail. It hits the ground with a feeble chime. Oh. Mr. Moe stares at the toy for a solid minute before making a slow, pathetic leap at it. His attempt at swindling is seconded and forgotten.
You can't be such a pushover with him. That's why he's, medically speaking, rotund.
I won't go against his diet plan. Don't worry. I will feel extremely bad about it, though.
Yeah. The worst part is, it is relatively easy for a cat to get fat if you don't take care to not give them too much, but actually getting them to lose their weight again. Oh. Really is every sign, Sigh.
Me too. But as his parents, we have to be strong.
I'll try.
Mr. Moe completes his hunt successfully, laying on top of his toy and purring loudly in the corner of the room.
As his parents, huh?
I look at the loaf fast asleep, his paws completely hidden underneath his blanket of fur. Millie shifts next to me, adjusting her braid and laughing, color reaching, I think.
Sorry, was that weird to say? I just meant since we're both taking care of him and living together and dating.
Her face lights up with red and she flexes her fingers slightly as she mutters under breath, counting.
We've jumped ahead a lot of steps before we've even, well, anything, haven't we?
A pile of dough with fur, yeah.
Sorry, ignore my earlier question. It's definitely weird.
It's fine. I don't mind. At all. I was just thinking it's cute.
Cute.
What do you mean before we're even anything, though? We have been dating for a few months.
That doesn't count. I mean, like, well, we've been living together before we've even been on a date. A proper one.
Okay, we can go right now. Proper date. In all of our escape plans, Millie had mentioned a lot of dates I was taking her on. To the zoo, to the movies, to a book signing event, even to more obscure places like an espresso tasting tour. It seems silly in retrospect that having a traditional romance was part of our whole act, yet neither of us really seemed to care about it. At least from what Millie's told me, it's just something that she thinks makes a good story. Still, may as well do things the right way, little steps at a time.
Let's have a date tonight.
Millie blinks, surprised by my sudden introduction of plans for the evening. Butterflies flip in my stomach. The ability to say romantic things came easily when it was pretend and has remained natural now that it's real, but the sudden overwhelming shyness is impossible to power through. I instinctively adjust my glasses just a little too long to hide my face.
Oh, not that I don't want to, of course, but we don't have to do this tonight just because I brought it up.
Yes, we do.
It's not just that. I want to have a date with you. I just realized I should have suggested it earlier.
A smile finds its way to Millie's face. She leans back against the nearby counter, tilting her head to the side as she thinks.
Where should we go then?
I glance at the clock on the wall, its hour hand creeping closer to 4.
Probably be hard to get any last-minute reservations now, huh?
Not that we could afford anywhere fancy anyway.
Fake dating was really the best in that regard. Your dad must have thought I'm loaded with all the nights out we had.
Maybe we could do something here?
Here? In the apartment?
Or maybe you could have a movie night.
Are you sure you don't want to go out anywhere or anything?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'd love to. I just figured you'd be more into, you know, bigger things.
Fake girlfriend Millie's tastes are a lot more expensive than mine. It's way harder to argue with someone who has plans to go out than it is to ask them to put off a cozy movie night.
Guess I was a little bit off. Still, a cozy date night sounds like a dream.
Then, at least let me prepare dinner for us. It's finally our first date. What the readers have been waiting for. I have to set the tone for the rest of the story and all that.
Oh? You're such a romantic.
Millie fixes a stray piece of hair in the same movement, looking herself over. Her brows knit together before she quickly bounces back to the present, giving me a heart-skipping smile.
Well, I think I'll take the opportunity to go get us some refreshments. See you in an hour or two?
Sounds perfect.
Millie begins gathering things, flitting from one shelf to the next as she grabs small trinkets she's left around the apartment. From a phone to a wallet to her keys, she bounces to and from, putting them into her pockets. In the meanwhile, I'll still rummaging through my fridge, trying to put a meal together in my head as I go. I hear Millie give Mr. Mo pets and tell him not to bag me for any scraps while I'm cooking. After that she leaves, the absence of the sound of the door locking reminding me once more that I need to get her a key. Pulling out a selection of ingredients from the fridge, I get to work. You don't have 2 keys? You don't have a spare key you could give her? Huh? The aroma of garlic, onion, and bell pepper wafts throughout the kitchen as the vegetables complete cooking in a splash of seasoned olive oil. The shrimp, cooked on the side just in case, swim in a mixture of lemon juice and salt, the color already a beautiful pink. Telling me a shrimp fried this rice? I dump the fettuccine into the colander set up in the sink, ducking my head away from the steam as it billows up. Mr. Mo yowls and protests at my feet, the scent of seafood reminding him of how he's only eaten 3 bowls of food so far. The food sizzles with renewed vigor as I put the leftover water noodles into the vegetables, stirring it together as I move the pan across the flame. I season the food all together once more, adding a bit more lemon juice as a final touch before covering the pan with the lid and turning the heat down low.
Whew.
As confident as I am in the sort of cooking, the only other person I've tried cooking for, really cooking for, not just as a job, has been my mom. Even then, it's usually the same few recipes that I already know she enjoys. For Millie, this is kind of a leap. A mindful one, I hope, but a leap nonetheless. As much as she's commented on wanting more seafood and how much she loves pasta, it's entirely possible she's not a fan of shrimp or bell peppers or even lemon. Still, my gut says that she'll like it. In a move completely unlike me, I've decided to trust it. I wiped the sweat off my forehead. The setup was pretty quick, taking me less time than I expected. Checking my phone, there's no word yet from Millie either.
I wonder if I still have those candles Mom left.
I'm sure I have something to decorate with. Despite my mom's best attempts to get me to brighten up the place, I've been storing all the trappings into the hall closet and promising to get to it later. Better now than never, I suppose. Aw, fairy lights! Nice.
Well,
Those are always
I
good.
did my best, Mr. Mo. What do you think? Thanks.
The placements at the table are definitely spring-themed, pastel flowers and sun rays adorning the entire design. The candles are some cheap tea lights my mom left me for for the holidays last year, and the only plates I have look lifted out of the early 80s. Stray lights around the room at least provide a nice ambience, sparse as they are. I don't have time to change my mind about it. Millie's familiar rhythmic knocking sounds from the door before she enters. It's unlocked state, the norm for now.
I'm home!
And you're wearing glasses.
Welcome back.
I turn around and to my surprise a bespectacled Millie closes the door behind her. She self-consciously adjusts her glasses when she meets my gaze, quickly breaking eye contact and darting her gaze toward the floor.
Those contacts have been giving me a headache for ages. Figured now's as good a time as any to make a change, even if I look dorky.
You're... oh.
Dorky, huh?
With an exaggerated frown, I remove my glasses and turn them over in my hands as if contemplating their destruction. I like that it's just got slightly more blurry. Because if it's only this blurry, then their eyes are not that bad. Bad enough to wear glasses, but not that bad. Millie smiles. Maybe. It's hard to see. And swipes them from out of my hands before placing them back on my face.
They look a lot better on you.
Jazz is always an amazing thing to add to her face. It's very true. Glasses truther.
I see. What a shame. Guess I'm just a dork by nature.
You know that's not what I mean.
At least I have Mr. Mo. He would never criticize me.
I assure you his meows at mealtime are not very kind.
She turns to the table and places a brown paper bag on top, unfolding it in one smooth movement. It reveals 2 slices of cake, each with a glazed strawberry and vanilla buttercream. Ooh.
Ta-da! I brought dessert! They're from a bakery by my dad's shop. I couldn't let you have all the fun putting our date together.
I want a glazed strawberry and the cake. As she says that, she does look around the room, her eyes basically shining. As unimpressive as I thought it was, Millie exhales a content sigh.
You really went all out, huh?
I wish I could do more. Can I take your jacket?
It can be good, it can be awful. Yeah, sometimes what I always dislike is when there's like glasses on characters and clearly there's been no care put into the whole, maybe the glasses fitting the characters. Where it's just like, oh, you know, we'll just put glasses as an accessory and there's only this one pair of glasses. That doesn't work for everyone. But they're like, hey, use glasses, whatever.
Actually, could you turn around?
Huh?
Just for a minute. This is all so nice and thoughtful. At least let me have this.
Okay. Millie's look would explode. My heart leaves out of my chest. How am I supposed to react to that? I forgot how to speak. Instead, I manage a stiff nod and turn around, closing my eyes for good measure. I hear the sounds of her jacket buttons unclipping and realize as she moves over to the coat hanger that she must be wearing heels. After a few more moments and shuffling, she clears her throat.
Okay, ready.
Ooh, ho, ho. Oh. Ew. Millie smiles before me, her eyes lighting up at the reflections of the candles on the table next to us and a string of twinkle lights above us. Her braid is twisted slightly, resting just behind her shoulder in a loose bundle and framing her face with a few loose strands.
I'm really excited for our date tonight. Thank you for setting it up for us.
You're gorgeous.
Olive, thank you. I stopped home to... well, I just wanted to...
She blushes, shaking her head and slightly squeezing my hands.
Shall we?
She's so cute.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not specifically the dress, or her hair, or even her glasses. As Millie's before me, it's the air of confidence and comfort that I've never seen that is making her so beautiful. There's a comfort and relaxation into it all despite all the occasion. I think and hope Millie feels it too. As romantic as the night is, something about being able to share an evening together so intentionally and together. Share an evening together so intentionally and together is more important than any other reason. I pull out a chair for her and sit across from her at the table. Without further ado, I serve our plates and we have our first dinner date. Beautiful dress. Very short occasion.
I'm so full. That was amazing. Thank you for cooking.
It was my pleasure. I definitely overate too.
She had a small groan and laugh. The outside air is refreshing. Cold, but not insufferable. After eating our weight in pasta, Millie suggested we walk it off. The night is filled with lights from leftover holiday decorations and street lamps, and yet it's like we're the only two people in the world.
So, how's everything?
Is that an attempt at small talk?
Is it working?
Only if you want it to be.
She giggles, walking in a bit closer to me. I extend a hand to her, which she takes, swinging it between us with each step.
Well, I don't know if I have a single word for it. It's like at Christmas when I saw the painting, everything that was held together like a house of cards just sort of collapsed. Everything that's happened after, you finding me, us moving in together, and now our date, it feels like it's building back up.
She pauses long enough for me to be unsure that she's going to continue. In the distance, the plaza lights are coming into view, filling the horizon with a warm glow.
Can I ask what you mean exactly? Oh, what's being built back up, I mean.
Stability, I guess.
She looks up towards the sky. I follow her gaze, trying to see whatever she sees. Stars aren't really visible. They never are. Not here. Only a few bright ones manage to peek through the pollution of light and clouds, and the rest are airplanes or radio towers flying by.
Ever since my mom passed, I've always felt unbalanced. Like I was this close to falling one way or another. She was my rock. Every morning we had breakfast together, every night we read together, and then one day she was gone. I didn't know what to do or who I was, except that I wanted to be a writer someday, so I focused on my education. I poured all of my heart into my schoolwork, even though, honestly, I'm just not very good at it. It's only through hours and hours of hard work and tears that I am where I am now. It's why I was drawn to you.
My pathetic performance in school was a positive.
No, not exactly.
5 times we've started again in Germany. Pretend. But airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars.
I know what it's like to feel like everything is crashing down, and so much of this doesn't come naturally. It's a lot. But I always had caprice. Honestly, if you'd chosen the art club, you might have been in better hands.
Yeah, not to burst your bubble, but I'm gonna be choosing the art club next time, just because I want to see both ways.
I never imagined you would struggle with that kind of thing.
It comes in waves. It was really hard in middle school, but I managed to find a way to power through. Even when I didn't want her to, Caprice had been pushing me forward, helping me study and still find the time and energy to pursue writing.
But then, the engagement happened.
Exactly. I felt like I had made a terrible mistake because I realized just how much I had relied on her. I love her, I do. She's my sister, whether her parents got married or not. I wish she understood that, but she either can't or won't. But Olive, with you, I feel like we're in this together. I helped you get through writing, sure, but that's all it was. All of your accomplishments are still your own. I felt like I owed every single one of my own dreams and successes to someone else. Do you get what I mean?
I think so. In a way, at least. I don't think... No. I know I couldn't have passed this semester without you there. But I don't think that was a bad thing. You were there when I needed you. I felt relieved when you asked me to help you get some space once in a while. It was like I could finally return the favor in some way.
Plaza is quiet, a dusting of snow is falling, melting as soon as it reaches the ground. I try to read her expression. Her eyes are warm, but the lingering sadness I've come to know has returned. I want to backpedal to tell her that she'll never need to worry about owing someone else anything, but it's not true. I owe so much of who I am to her, to my professors, to my mom.
We're supposed to help each other. That's all I mean. Your confidence and energy, finding yourself, that makes me so happy. I just still want you to be able to turn to me because I love you.
Oh god, I'm so done.
Not easy to have as a partner, you know. I need time to work things out, to think them through. I don't always know what I want.
I'll wait for you. I hope you believe me when I say I love you for who you are. I love you enough to trust you'll tell me when you're ready.
My heart skips in my chest at the thought. It's easy to say, but I understand what she's coming from. It's scary to allow yourself to be loved, especially when it requires effort and inconvenience. Through Millie, I've come to understand that having someone you love burdens you. I want her to rely on me. I want to rely on her too.
Is dating me what you want right now?
I tried to ask this delicately, to make sure. We came together at a tumultuous time, and I want her to know more than anything that it's okay if she feels otherwise.
It is.
She responds softly, but the dedication in her words leaves no room for that.
I love you, Olive. I want to think about everything we've spoken about. But I at least want you to know I'm very happy spending our time together like this. I'm happy with you.
I don't love everyone I was doing to avoiding media, which is a shame, in my personal opinion. I think telling someone you love them is a very nice thing, like actually using that word.
I'm happy with you too.
You know how there's just this weird thing where people will say, oh, it won't mean as much if you say it so often, and like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I not tell the people that I love them? I would tell them 100 times, 1,000 times. It doesn't make it any less valid. Like, it's a complete opposite. The more I tell someone, the more I reassure them that the feeling is still very much there. Like, be that romantic kind of love, or familial love, or platonic love, whatever.
Can I,
She stops herself, glancing away. The giant holiday tree behind us illuminates her with a golden light.
Can I kiss you?
Can I get a kissy G? 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 Please, 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 please. Her unfinished question finds its way to me. She turns to me in surprise, the knots color reaching her face.
please do.
Please, 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 please. Woo! I feel her lace our hands together, the hands we've been holding for each other all this time. I tap her face with my free hand as she leans in, our foggy back mixing in the space between us. Yes, baby! That's what I'm fucking talking about. A proper kiss. The idea rings in my head. My lips reach hers in a movement I've been thinking about ever since our encounter in the library, and without connection, she squeezes my hands in her. Our first date comes to an end. Even if we don't have all the answers, or know exactly what tomorrow will bring, we know we love each other. That's more than enough. Yeah! Woo! Big kiss. Snow covers the ground, but the weather feels pleasant, relatively speaking. At the very least, it's warm enough to warrant an early morning drive, so I wasn't too surprised when Millie originally pitched the idea. My concerns rose slightly when she grabbed her mom's journal on the way out the door, and then again when it became obvious where we were going. Junebug comes to a stop off the side of the road, puttering as her engine comes to a rest.
We're here.
Your mother's grave? Oh. Maybe. We hold hands as we slowly make our way across the bridge, both as an act of intimacy as well as a means to share our warmth. Millie's other hand is her journal clutched tightly. Around the halfway point or so, she releases my hand and turns up to the horizon, leaning against the railing after gently brushing some snow off into the dancing lights on the water below. She does the same for a potion of raining beside her, and I take it as a silent invitation to join her. Turns to me and smiles as I take my place beside her, but quickly turns attention back to a book, tracing the star on the cover with her finger.
Sorry for dragging you out here. I've been thinking.
She takes a small breath to give herself the energy to finish her thought.
Well, there's an entry in Mom's journal I'd really like to share with you, and I wanted a clear head to do it.
Okay. She turns once more to me, asking for consent to continue with her eyes.
Are you sure?
More sure than I've been about a lot of things recently.
She continues to stare at me, and it's only after a few moments I realize she's waiting for confirmation. I oblige with a small nod, and not long after she pushes herself up from the railing before opening her journal to the page she had bookmarked.
Page 61. When it's time to let go. I've left a lot of hopes and wishes for you in these pages, but this one is extra important. Sometimes in your life, and sometime soon, you'll realize that things that once made you happy simply don't anymore. When moments like this happen, I want you to know it's okay to let go. In fact, you should. The longer you hold on to a long-faded feeling of joy, the more you'll start to tie it to the bad feelings it's giving you. So let it go. Let it stay a happy memory, locked in time. Revisit it whenever you want. Just remember that building new experiences on top isn't the same as burying it, okay?
Aww. A content sigh leaves her lips as she finishes the final sentence. Her eyes never once leave the page, though.
I wrote a response to her, here at the bottom.
What'd you write?
I could never move on from you.
Oh. Did she ever write back?
She shakes her head, though the movement is so subtle it barely registered as such.
I wrote it after she left us.
Oh, Millie. Every part of me feels compelled to do something. Grab at her hand, pull her close, anything to narrow the distance between us in this moment. Instead, nothing. I stay locked in place, and she... hers.
I've read every page of this front to back hundreds of times. I could recite every word of hers by heart. These past few days, though, I find myself revisiting this entry, time and time again. I've read every word, but registered almost none of it, really.
She finally turns her gaze back to me, smiling sweetly. If I expect to find sadness, I find none, her face instead reflecting a kind of peace I don't think I've ever seen her show. I want to respond, but find myself just as paralyzed as I was before, not entirely sure where she had intended to take this. The silence doesn't seem to faze her, gently closing her journal before digging into her coat pocket for her phone. She pulls it out and immediately starts tapping away with her one free hand. Not long after, my phone starts buzzing in several small bursts. Millie looks at me expectantly, and I hesitantly check on my phone as well, feeling of unease overtaking me as I wonder what I'm going to be met with. Every line of communication got an announcement to make it on the writing club. Our next meeting is scheduled for this coming Thursday, and it'll be our last. Thanks for your understanding. I hope to see everyone there to send the club off. Oh! My heart, originally stuck in my throat, drops deep down into my stomach. The club, in my time knowing it at least, had always been in a dire situation, but I wanted to believe we could make it work. She deserved that at least.
Millie, you don't have to...
It's okay, Olive. Really.
She joins me back on the railing, completely unfazed by the bombshell she herself just dropped.
The time between the last meeting and now has been the happiest I've felt in a while. And I've been thinking a lot about if it was worth trying to keep it going. I've decided... I think I'm ready to let go. Of this, at least. It's time.
I grip at the railing, even as my fingers protest against the freezing steel.
I really wanted it to work.
At this, she takes a small step towards me, close enough to have her shoulders touch.
I know. Thank you for believing till the very end. It means more than you know.
She nudges my shoulder, prompting me to meet her eyes.
I know this is the right thing to do, and I feel good about the decision right now. But I know the day of is going to be tough. I hope I can count on you then as much as I have been lately.
the first time all day, I know exactly what to say.
And every day after.
Not fitting for the situation, I don't think. She breathes a quiet laugh, nods her head, and leans in for a kiss in response. Sheesh. Good for them. The clunk of the log is the only noise in the hallway as Millie closes the writing club room for the final time. Heather didn't bother to show, and Darren ducked out after giving his condolences and saying his goodbyes. That leaves just the three of us.
Well, that's that.
The delivery is as empty as the building we stand in.
Sorry, Millie.
Me too. Really thought it'd be able to limp along another semester at least.
No, it's okay. It was the right decision. Thanks for sticking around to see it off.
An elongated sigh immediately betrays her words.
So, what now?
I'll just keep my head down and focus on my classes, I guess. Not much else you can do with less than a semester left.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Anya fidgets in place, trying to find a proper response to our defeated answers.
Well, you know what they say. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Or whatever. How about we go out somewhere? My treat.
You sure you can afford that out of the blue?
Not like my day-to-day life is luxury living. Splurging every once in a while is easy enough.
It's okay, Tanya. I just appreciate you showing up.
Come on, let me do this at least. Please.
You've already done more than enough. Don't worry.
Anya's entire demeanor was off all day. She was unusually active during the meeting today and even offered to help tidy up the room before it got locked up. It's becoming increasingly obvious why.
I don't...
Anya scratches the back of her neck in frustration, searching her brain for anything to move the conversation forward. Eventually, she finds them, but breaks eye contact with Millie in the process.
Millie... I think I owe you an apology.
Tanya, you really don't have to.
Sorry, but she needs to hear this.
Anya steals her previously unsteady gaze upon Millie.
I've been doing you dirty for a while, and honestly, the truth is...
She takes a deep, soothing breath, and lets it out.
I really, really don't care about writing.
I mean, that's obvious. Millie and I are both at a loss for words. All the build-up and stress, all for something so menial. Despite the long pause that followed her revelation, Millie and I never seize on the opportunity to respond. Not wanting to let the silence hang, Tanya continues instead.
But Millie, I really, really care about you.
Two of them stand there, staring at each other outside of our empty little club room. Tanya holds her gaze, fighting back the cracks in her voice. I don't think it's honest to call it menial. Not anymore. Not to her.
I know.
Millie doesn't move an inch, save for the new smile on her face. Even still, that's enough to send a shock to Tanya.
We've been friends for years now, Tanya. It wasn't hard to tell your heart wasn't in it. I should be apologizing to you. You shouldn't have needed to stay for my sake. I'm sorry.
Millie deals the finishing blow with a hug. Tanya stands there helpless, her arms raised awkwardly, unable to return the gesture.
What? No, this isn't supposed to... The club is gone, Millie. Everything you worked so hard for,
It's done.
Yeah, you should hate me for it. I could have done more. I could have cared harder. I could have...
Been there for me? Stood up for my sake when no one else would? Tanya, you did everything a good friend would. The rest of it wasn't on you. Just being there was enough.
Mighty Tanya, always with her hard-drinking and calloused hands, finally returns the hug.
I'm sorry it ended this way.
What can you do?
Millie shrugs, letting the years of struggle she put into the club flow right down her back. Not because it doesn't hurt, and won't continue to hurt, so she can prove to her friend she'll be okay, somehow. Tanya breaks from the hug to take a much-needed rest against the wall.
God, that was corny. I'm whipped.
You're telling me. I had to watch all of it.
Oh, hush, you two. Pick a better time and place.
Anya cracks a smile that only I can see, and scrapes away any leftover signs of vulnerability from her face.
Anyway, offer's still open. We should grab a bite to eat if you're feeling up to it.
Sounds good to me. So long as Millie's on board.
Well, how am I supposed to refuse after that?
Then we'll throw a party that'll put the art clubs to shame. A final hurrah to celebrate all the good we managed to wring out of our little club while it lasted.
Millie doesn't reply with anything other than a nod, but her smile is noticeably larger than before.
I drive by this little diner now and then that's in a hollowed-out trolley car. That seems like it'd be your kind of vibe, Millie.
Yeah, that's why I work. Thank you for the 90 time in the pack. And just as quick as it arrived, my smile vanishes.
Vetoed.
What? Why?
I plead the fifth.
As it turns out, the diner in question happens to be one of my favorites. You have my vote.
Looks like you've been outnumbered.
Help ease the guild weighing Tanya down. Befriend Tanya. My head hung low in defeat. The three of us make our exit, the chatter amongst ourselves livelier than normal. Oh well, that's nice. Couple days later. Not just a few, but a couple. Days like this have started to feel normal, almost mundane. With club meetings no longer taking about evenings, Millie sits on a couch and chips away at a novel she picked up from the library, while I prepare our dinner after a typical day of classes.
Tortilla soup for dinner tonight. How much chili powder am I adding?
None whatsoever, thanks.
It's hard not to laugh out of lit dismissal from across the room, not even missing a beat. I sprinkle in the bare minimum. I can to prevent it from tasting entirely flat. I can only hope she'll forgive me later. To stow away the quiet both of us have been enjoying is interrupted by my phone ringing on the counter. I scoop it up with my free hand, eyeing the sender's name with some amount of surprise.
It's Haley.
Oh, the chili powder? No. I would be the same. You do need some spice in there, though. I get it. That's enough to get Millie's attention in earnest, closing her book and making her way to my side, intent on listening in. Once she's situated to her liking, I pressed a button and let the call through.
Haley, been a minute. What's up?
Hey, sorry if this is sudden. I've been trying not to pry.
Her pace is noticeably faster than her typical lethargic delivery.
I haven't seen much of Millie since the holidays, and neither of them have talked to me about it. I know it's not technically my business, but I can't stand being in the dark about this any longer.
I glance at my girlfriend. The guilt on her face makes it obvious enough that she caught that.
She's fine if that's what you wanted to know. It's not really my place to talk about their home life if they haven't, though.
Like you would go, like candies and stir coffee. Ow! I'm very bad when it comes to spice. Extremely much so. I have to start building up a tolerance at some point.
I understand.
Where you go, Just giving up on trying to keep her tone subtle, the mounting frustration becoming all too obvious.
Have you tried talking to Millie about this at all?
I can make out an enemy's snort on the other end.
As if she's actually spoken to me in forever.
There's a silence over the phone that's impossible for me to fully read.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking about her like that. Least of all to you. Forget I even called.
It's okay.
The beep of the call ending interrupts me before I get the chance to finish. I bring the phone down from my ear and briefly inspect the screen to make sure I didn't accidentally hang up on her somehow. Nope. Just her. A small unexpected laugh from Millie puts my eyes upward again. She shakes her head and waves. The smile on her face doesn't reach her eyes, but isn't entirely sad either. A silent display of acceptance and remorse all at once.
I was just realizing how right she was. I've been giving both of them the cold shoulder for too long.
She takes us up close and stirs the soup I'd been preparing for us, making me just realize I'd been leaving it unattended during the call.
Are you okay with taking a drive tonight?
Sure. Millie shuffles into her former apartment with me following as close as I can, shutting the door behind us as we make our way inside from the call. Haley's loitering around in the living area, not doing anything in particular outside of waiting for us to arrive, it seems. Millie called her back not long after our early conversation, finally ready to talk things out. As part of Millie's impromptu peace talks, I have a couple Tupperware containers worth of soup for Haley and Caprice. Haley's portion has a name written on the side. I added a little extra kick to it based on what I know of her preferences. Haley gives me a curious look as I carefully set them down on the counter.
Thought you might appreciate an actual dinner. No chance they're already frozen over, but a couple minutes in the microwave won't hurt.
Thanks.
It's the least we can do after all the stress I've been causing you lately.
Millie takes a breath before continuing.
Is Caprice going to be okay with leaving her room? I'd like to talk to both of you, if possible.
Millie waits for a response, but only silence follows. After sitting in the awkward silence for a second too long, Millie leans to look past her friend down into the hall.
Well, I'll go ask her directly then.
Millie speaks in a hushed tone, not wanting the subject of her discussion to be bothered. It's loud enough for Haley to hear, though, and her eyes immediately snap back to Millie.
Caprice isn't here.
Huh?
Millie's eyes couldn't widen any more than they widen now. The various little things she wanted to discuss leave her mind, replaced only by a single question.
What do you mean she's not here?
I mean, she's not here. I don't know what part of that is open to interpretation.
Millie's in a piece that she spent the last couple weeks nursing and restoring shatters in an instant, by studying back and forth while she tries to formulate her words.
I mean, where is she? Do you know? Why didn't you say anything?
Haley's eyes narrow and her features dug downwards. I reach for Millie's hand in instinct to both try and calm her down as well as just remind her I'm still there.
Her mom's place. I thought the total lack of communication is why you came here. When have you given me a chance to tell you anything?
Charlie's good.
Back half of Haley's statement didn't even make it to Millie's train of thought, likely for the best.
Sorry to drag you around town, Olive, but we're going to pay her a visit. Haley, would you come with? We'll talk more late.
Wait. Slow down a sec. Take a breath. Trying to corner her without warning won't do anyone any good right now.
She practically jumps out of her skin as I interrupt her stream of thoughts. She pauses and forces herself to inhale, trying her best to collect herself again. After an exhale, instead of addressing either of us, she instead reaches into her coat for her phone. She dials someone up and puts it on speaker as it rings, pacing back and forth as Haley and I watch on.
Millie?
Wallace, hi. I wanted to ask about Caprice, if you don't mind.
I've actually been meaning to ask you about her myself. Now's as good a time as any to trade notes.
Who's Wallace?
Ask me about what?
Well, just wondering how things have been. None of us have seen her for a while.
How long is a while?
We had a meeting right before the semester started up again, but she got up and left abruptly. That's the last we've heard from her.
Uh-oh.
Before the semester started? So, a matter of weeks?
Yeah. Hasn't called any meetings. Hell, hasn't even responded when we got together and invited her ourselves. Eileen, of all people, is getting worried at this point.
Millie's pacing stops, her back turned to us.
I see.
You know if she's okay? Figure you'd know better than any of us.
I really wish that were true. She's safe, at least. I'll let you know once I hear anything past that.
Okay. Make sure you look after yourself, too. Later, Mills.
The blade Wallace is gone. Millie stands in place long after he hangs up, not even finding the willpower to turn around.
Has she been gone all this time?
Yeah, that more or less matches up with when she left.
Millie finally turns around, dragging her feet back over to us, before eventually burying her face in her hands and speaking through them.
I'm so sorry. I never meant to leave you alone all this time. I didn't realize... I didn't even give you a chance to tell me what with my behavior. I didn't even text. I'm so sorry.
Hey, come on. This isn't about me.
Millie looks up from her hands, her stress on her face plain.
It's about you as much as anyone else. Both of us have put so much on you, and I was just off living blissful ignorance while you two were suffering alone. I can't say enough, Haley. God, Caprice.
Haley sighs. Something about how simple it is seems to register in Millie's head as a way to say, okay, slow down. Most things about Haley do, really.
You're here now, right?
Oh. She steps forward and embraces her friend as Millie's tears start in earnest. I gently take a step closer, rubbing her back alongside Haley's hug.
You needed some time to get to this point.
Yeah.
The three of us stay there until Millie's cries turn to sniffles, then eventually back to a calm silence.
I'll do my best to fix things the right way.
That's all I ever wanted from you two.
Haley smiles, totally unrestrained, no longer trying to hide her emotion as it grows ever wider across her face.
Remember that Caprice deserves a hug like this too.
I will. Of course I will.
Oh, the Christmas tree's still up. Millie and I sit together on the couch, Millie lost in a book, while I try my best to enjoy the quiet atmosphere with her. At this point, it's nothing out of the ordinary from how we've been spending our evenings. Except this isn't our couch, and her book isn't the usual mystery novel. She's buried herself in its pages, her face hidden by the cover, the now all too familiar shooting star. I'm not sure if it's to frantically search for an answer to some unspoken question, or merely to distract herself from our situation. Probably some mix of the two. Almost as soon as we got back from visiting Haley, Millie started making calls. First to her dad, and then, after Caprice refused to pick up, to Charlie. A simple request, to try again. To speak honestly and openly, leaving nothing on the table. Not really a complex plan, but it was enough to win the two over. Not that I doubt that he'd have accepted anyway. The only uncertainty left is Caprice, but Charlie assured Millie she'd do her best to bring her along. Park House is exactly how I remembered leaving it, stressful silence included. The tree's still up. Guess Mike hasn't had the time, motivation, to tear it down yet. Mike's off in the kitchen working on something or other, faint chopping sounds being the only other noise in the large house. 3 knocks on the door breaks us all from our respective transits. Thank you, Sammy. I look behind me to watch as Mike makes his way to the front of the house, then turn back once Millie's hand finds mine, giving it a tight squeeze. She doesn't make eye contact, still hiding most of her face behind a now-closed journal. Mike wordlessly opens the door, revealing Charlie. Just Charlie. Mike instinctively leans in for a hug, but thinks better of it. Millie wears a difficult expression as he quickly pulls himself back upright.
Make yourself comfortable. Won't be a sec.
It feels like it's been hours since I last heard someone speak, to the point where I actually jump a little as he addresses her. She responds with a nod as she takes off her coat, prompting him to retreat back to the kitchen while she makes her way towards us.
Hey, you two. Been a while.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I right myself and try my best to put on a natural-looking smile. I can't do much, but I can at least do my part to make sure the atmosphere starts off okay.
It's good to see you again, ma'am. I didn't know you worked at the aquarium.
She briefly gives me a confused look before glancing down and recognizing the source of my clairvoyance.
Been a tour guide for just over 20 years now, actually. I can tell you just about anything you need to know about the creatures of the deep, so long as I'm given a script to memorize a week or two beforehand.
Wow. You must really like fish.
She gives me a laugh, sincere though small.
That's always been more Caprice's thing. I actually thought about looking for another job, but it was enough for Caprice and she always loved visiting.
The smile she briefly had while recounting her job sparked something in her, and her gloomy expression returns just as quickly as it had faded as she turns to Millie.
Hey, sorry. I tried to get her to join us. She said she would and join me when I left for work today.
No longer able to avoid the conversation, Millie finally looks up, meeting Charlie's eyes just in time for Charlie to avert hers.
When I clocked out and told her we were leaving, she said she didn't feel up to it after all and stayed behind.
She's still at the aquarium?
Yeah, probably. I told her to call me when she wanted a ride back home.
Millie doesn't respond verbally, her growing frown doing enough speaking for her. And so the conversation ends, the home returning to a relative silence, broken up only by Mike shuffling about in the other room.
You should sit down.
Charlie initially meets her with shock before donning an awkward half smile.
Don't worry about me. I appreciate it, though.
Oh! Millie protests in her own silent way, inching herself closer to me and patting the cushion next to her. Out of ways to reject the offer, Charlie finally accepts, finding a place next to Millie. Thankfully, it's not long before Mike joins us, placing a couple small fruit bowls on the table in front of us.
Just something light for now. I was hoping we'd have the chance to go to a proper dinner after this.
Okay. Neither Millie nor Charlie acknowledge his suggestion for the evening. Doing his best to shake off the awkwardness of it, he takes a seat next to Charlie, grabbing an orange slice for himself in the process.
So, Mills, we're listening. Whenever you're ready.
That gets a reaction out of her, Millie's grip on my hand tightening as her name comes up. The silence drags on. Millie maintains my hand in hers, biting her bottom lip as she struggles to start. She looks toward me nervously. I give her a nod and shake her hand in mine.
Go ahead. I'm here.
Deep breath. We exhale together. Millie focuses her eyes down on the floor as she takes to her feet.
I'm scared.
That was enough to train all of the eyes in the room on her. I match a squeeze with one of my own to remind her I'm there, which gives her just enough willpower to push on.
I've been thinking about and rehearsing everything I've wanted to say all day, and the more I do, the more it all sounds silly and irrational. I know I'm in the wrong for a lot of things. Maybe even all of them. I think that's how I'd see it if I were in your shoes anyway.
I don't think this is a right and wrong kind of situation. I guarantee I'm not gonna love you any less over what you have to say.
It doesn't matter if it's silly or irrational if that's how you really feel. That's all we've ever cared about.
It takes a minute, but Millie's hold on me eventually loosens. She uses her now freed hand to open her journal to one of the several pages he had bookmarked this morning.
If you're ever feeling lost, always know that Dad will be there to lend you an ear. And if for whatever reason he isn't, I'm sure Charlie will be. If nothing else, please remember that you'll never be alone. Mom left all of this advice, all these instructions to me, and I've clung to every word. But there's so many questions left unanswered. I didn't know where to turn when you two weren't an option.
You can always come to...
No, I couldn't. Not this time.
The sternness of her reply could easily be mistaken for frustration, but thankfully it fades as she allows herself a breath to refocus her thoughts.
I wanted to be happy for you two. I am, but dropping the news on us out of the blue that you started dating, then letting Caprice break the news for you that you were making things official, there was never enough time to process anything.
I'm sorry, Millie. That was never supposed to be how you found out.
I know, I don't blame you, or her, not anymore. But it doesn't change the fact that it made approaching any of you about this feel impossible. How could I when the three of you were so happy?
I understand. We never wanted to exclude you, sweetheart. I'm sorry we made you feel so alone.
I'm glad you were able to find Olive at least. Even if you felt that way about us, your dad and I were happy to hear you found someone you could lean on.
Millie gives me a glance, a silent request to admit what she can.
We only started dating recently.
Well, obviously.
Like, after Christmas recently.
Huh.
With the groundwork now laid, Millie turns her attention back to the two, ready to pick up where I left off.
Up until the last few weeks, Olive was just my escape plan whenever you or Caprice tried to pull me into some family thing. I'm sorry for lying to you, but I just desperately needed the space.
I'm sorry, too. I didn't want to lie to any of you, but...
But you were doing right by her. It's okay, I get it.
Mike's interjection surprises Millie and I in equal measure, her eyebrows raised as high as they can go. Charlie doesn't elaborate, but her sad smile serves as enough of an agreement with her fiancé. With her first bombshell navigated about as well as anyone could hope, Millie's confidence seems to come back to her as she returns to her book, posture straightens slightly.
Olive's been there for me as a friend and as a partner. Without them by my side, I don't know that I'd have the courage to do this. So, I'm just gonna come out and say it.
She lets go of my hand and holds her book, her hands caressing the cover. She continues.
This journal is the most important thing I own. written by the most important person in my life. It's my voice, helping me find words when I can't find them on my own. But for as thorough as she was, she left some things incomplete. I'd like you two to help fill in the blanks, because I don't know how to do it alone.
She waits for a response and gets none. Nevertheless, she stamps to another of her bookmarks, pushing it to skip to the section she had highlighted.
Page 53. I'm afraid of forgetting you. This was from me to her. She wrote down a response, talking about how she was afraid of the same thing, but that forgetting was okay. It was one of the only answers I could never really accept as it was. It's just heartbreaking beyond words. Imagining someone being okay with fading away into nothing.
Your mother will never be nothing to us. I hope I don't need to tell you that.
I know you mean that. I really do. It's just so hard to see what's happening and what it really means. There are parts of her that are gone forever. Grandma and Grandpa are gone, so there's no one around to remember her childhood. And there's the smaller things. What flowers she would grow in the garden in the back. Individual stories she'd read me. The weekends we'd all spend together. The finer details of her life are already fading away.
Millie starts to crack, a sniffle interrupting her train of thought. I do the only thing I can do and place a hand on her back, giving her a gentle rub.
And now, the stuff that really mattered to her. The things that defined her life. Her wedding ring and how easily it was forgotten. You putting yours away, then replacing it with a new one. The photos of her, of us, slowly being taken down and replaced with newer, happier memories. I would never, ever want to get between you and your happiness, and I'm sorry for being so cold about it up until now. But it's just, sometimes it feels like every step closer to the marriage is one step away from her. And I'm worried that once the big day comes, it'll just be all of us washing our hands of what little is left of her. I was scared of forgetting her then, when she was still around and the memories were fresh. Now I'm terrified.
Tears start to fall, staying in the immaculately maintained journal.
Oh, Mills.
Charlie brings her hand forward. She hesitates for a brief moment before committing, wrapping her arm around Millie's back, embracing her as best as she can next to her on the couch.
There's so much I can't remember about her. All the stories I want to tell you or Caprice about our time in high school, or even just small moments we shared while raising the two of you that I just can't quite manage to recall. It breaks my heart to think about all the things that are just gone.
With my hand still on Millie's back, it's easy for me to notice a gentle shake Charlie gives her.
But it's okay. She didn't leave us much, but it was enough. Even if you didn't have your journal, or I didn't have my bracelet, or we didn't have our photos, it'd be fine.
For the first time today, Charlie doesn't hesitate to close the distance between herself and her daughter, scooting herself closer to tighten a hug around her.
All we need to remember is the love we felt for her and her us. That's who Adelaide was. Anything else is just a happy extra. That's why it's okay to forget. It's impossible for us to lose the one thing that really matters. That's what I think she meant.
All of us sit while Millie processes Charlie's answer. The tears eventually stop and the sniffles soon after.
There's one more page I want to look at.
Go ahead.
She flips to her last bookmark, only a few pages behind the current one.
Page 42. What to do if Dad gets a new mom. She left it blank.
Charlie can't help but retreat away, both her and Mike's eyes wide. Charlie turns to Mike, hopeful he'll have an answer, but his expression shifts to a difficult one as the room looks to him. A quick spark of realization about something or other seems to hit him as his expression comes to life for a brief second. Whatever came to him quickly leads into frustration as he drags a hand down his face, his features being pulled downward in the process.
I've put you through so much. I had no idea.
Dad?
Mike brings himself to his feet. There he stands, eyes closed, the only movement from him being the tapping of his foot as he puts his thoughts in order.
I just need you to know. No matter how we felt, Charlie and I would never do something like this if we thought your mom might not approve of it. I know how that page must look, and how hard it is to believe me, but I promise you that she just ran out of time. It's not...
I believe you.
What?
Mike swivells in place to face us, the other eyes now wide open.
That's all I wanted to hear. I know you wouldn't lie about something like this.
Millie turns to me and gives me a gentle smile. She nudges my arm as she closes her journal, and I take the cue to raise it from her back. She reaches down, giving my hand one more soft squeeze before it's out of reach.
I needed time to grieve and go through the process of moving on. But above that, I needed to hear that from you, from both of you, that this wasn't us saying goodbye to her.
Both of us think about her every single day. I know you do too.
I know, I shouldn't... I know I never had any real reason to doubt you, but just... with everything moving so fast...
Aww. I could tell before Millie collapses into her dad, hugging him with everything she has. Just as quickly, Charlie and I are standing, Charlie joining Mike and comforting their daughter.
To put that on you too, to even think... I'm so sorry.
We understand. Of course we understand.
Thank you for talking about this with us. I'm sorry we weren't able to listen until now.
As the three huddle around holding onto each other, I breathe a sigh of relief. The burden that had been on Millie's shoulders since before I met her is finally starting to lift, and I swear I can feel it almost as strongly. As they all slowly regain their composure, Millie pulls away, finding her spot by me once again. Adjusting her reading glasses, she looks first to her parents and then the door.
I wish Caprice could have been here for this.
Charlie's expression shifts and turns, having an internal debate with herself at Millie's statement. One side wins out as her posture relaxes again, a smile finding its way to her face.
You should catch her up to speed. I'm sure both of you still have some things to say to each other.
Millie plays with her braid, her uncertainty transparent.
Are you sure that's the best idea? I don't want to ambush her.
I trust you too. Just be honest with her, but gentle, and you'll be fine.
Charlie reaches into her back pocket, pulling out a couple slips of paper. She steps forward, presenting one to each of us. Flip it over curiously in my hands, the big bold aquarium logo immediately grabbing my attention. Re-entry pass. For use only by family of staff member Charlotta Amelia Shifton.
It'd be unfair to have you pay entry to do something like this. Save yourself a few dollars.
Millie looks over to the pass as if it was worth its weight in gold, eyes beginning to well, but not quite to the point of tears.
Here then, let me trade you.
With the pass in her left hand, Millie extends her right towards Charlie, the one holding her journal.
Millie, no.
I'm not giving it to you. I just want you to keep it safe until I can pick it up again when we meet for dinner tonight. If you did want to read it though, I think that'd make her happy. She had some things to say to both of you too.
With Millie's explanation and the implication that it provides, Charlie finally accepts the book, though not without hesitation.
Sure you don't want to just take it with you?
Millie shakes her head.
I've used Mom's words when I couldn't find my own, ever since she gave that journal to me. Caprice needs to hear from me though, not her.
Charlie and Mike smile and wrap their arms around each other, looking like a couple for the first time since I've known them.
See you tonight then. Love you. Drive safe.
Call us if you need anything. Don't keep us waiting too long.
Love you both too. I'll meet you at the usual place as soon as I pick up Caprice.
Millie turns to me again, the brilliant shine in her eyes and a smile on her face. She reaches for my hand and I give it eagerly.
Sorry to keep dragging you into these things, Olive. You really make it all feel manageable.
Never a problem. Let me know if I can do anything else too.
Of course.
How long have Charlie and Mike been together? It's a good question. I assume at least a few years? So it's like Charlie and Mike and the dead mom, Adelaide, they've been friends forever. So I guess at some point after Adelaide died, when Millie was still a child, because she was sick, they got together, actually dating. But I could not tell you. They haven't given us an actual complete time frame. Oh, it's been exactly 3 years or something. Hey! Like you said, you get a Mewberry, Nanya keychain, and Mimi. Oh, fuck yeah! I still need a Mimikyu plushie, but I haven't found one with a good face yet. Oh, the con was nice. With the jingle, she produces her car keys, and outside, Junebug honks twice as Millie unlocks the doors. One more try. Side by side, we push through the cold wind and winter air towards the car. Not long after. Aquarium! There's a chance we will actually get a game with an aquarium date then. Well, probably not on this route, but maybe on the other one then. Like this one is my favorite. Yeah! Oh, I want to go to conventions again. I think I'm probably too late to try and actually make it to Dokumi this year. I know last time when I went I said, oh, I'm not gonna go again because it was a experience, but it's literally the only fucking convention where friends are going. Spring the wood of new and fun light. Ah. I can't remember the last time I've been to the aquarium. In every tank is a sea of colors, delicate underwater blooms unfold in every direction. A swarm of fish pass by, their scales shimmering in the light, casting rainbow hues across the water. The plants sway to and fro like grass in the wind, and I watch it all with equal parts awe and interest. Yeah. I'll think about it. Half of the fun of convention is going with friends. Yeah, it is. Half the fun is going and meeting people you just rarely have a chance to see most of the time. And the other half for me is like just going crazy in Artist Alley, and if I'm in cosplay, like going crazy about other cosplayers or getting complimented online, that's always fun. But I don't actually have cosplay. No, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna think of conventions right now. Don't do that to me. Caprice grew up here. Simple truth of that, paired with her coming here when it all became too much, reminds me of when I was young, holding my breath underwater in the pool for as long as I could. Millie points to a large stingray floating by, surrounded by smaller fish that I don't know the names of.
Stingrays used to be my favorite. I loved how they had a little smiling face on their underside.
Used to be. Are they not anymore?
Olive, please. I'm a grown woman. My favorite is obviously the tiger shark now.
You felt it? But there's so many. I've seen some artists that I really want to see. Already confirmed that I got booths for Dokumi, so now I'm like. I mean, if I could probably, if I save up some money, I could probably do it. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Ah, I should have guessed.
He nudges against me. We stand there for a moment longer, waiting for the next rush of life to pass by before moving on. From what I remember, the aquarium is pretty small. 2 floors and about half, or maybe a third of the size of the zoo altogether. But it looks nice, it makes up for in variety. Each tank hosts a spectacle of creatures and plants, decorated with rocks and other features, all living together in close, harmonious ecosystems. All of this to say, we're not in a rush. Whoever Caprice may be, we'll cross paths soon enough. The dull sound of waves crashing against the coral reef display, the hushed whispers of the stream of people nearby, and Millie by my side makes our journey here feel more purposed. Anxiety melts away, replaced by resolve. Oh,
There she is.
there she is. Before long, Millie points down a curved hall. Small shaped silhouette against a large tank, recognizable at an instant thanks to a signature hat and short stature. In the tank, bright blue water and hot pink rocks on the floor frame the doubles of swimming color within. The fish move in slow sways like paint on glass.
Caprice?
She turns towards us slightly in surprise. Oh. Then, with nothing more than an adjusting of her hat, walks away in the opposite direction.
Oh,
Millie falters. That was not what I expected either. The Caprice I've met so far has been reactive, bright, the type to try every tool at her disposal before even considering walking away. But now she looked at us just long enough to register our faces and laughed. I glance over to Millie, who's closed her eyes to shut out any tears that may dare falling.
Are you okay?
after so long of trying to fix everything on her own, I should have expected it. I should leave.
No, we can't.
Why?
She looks at me with a grim expression, but her voice doesn't even have an ounce of animosity.
Can I try talking to her first?
I don't know, Olive.
I just want to reach out.
Moving out from her apartment, not attending any art meetings, not even responding to any messages. Feeling in my stomach turns. This isn't the same as what Millie was doing when she needed space. Something tells me this is worse. I don't know her that well, but maybe that'll be exactly why she gave me a chance.
If you're sure.
I squeeze her hand and let go, off in the direction Caprice disappeared to. Hey!
Hey.
Don't.
She doesn't turn around, just stares at the exhibit before her, a semi-outdoor scene dotted with fresh fallen snow and a miniature waterfall.
It's just me. Don't worry.
Almost like she doesn't believe me, Caprice glances back, looking at and around me for any sign of Millie. I offer a small smile. She doesn't walk away this time. She turns back to the glass. I walk closer to her and try to see what she sees. Before that, though, I notice something different. Blue highlights in her hair reflect the seaside vistas around her, making her be a part of the aquarium itself.
I like the hair.
Figured it was time for a change. It's about all I have control over anymore.
Good all blue highlights for when life is going a certain way, huh? In the exhibit before us is pure tranquility. No signs of any fish or animals.
Looks like the otters are staying in today.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
So what do
listen,
you
I
know?
like the hair too. I'm not complaining. It's just blue of all colors. So it's like, oh man, when life gives you lemons, you gotta dye your hair blue. She pulls her hat down a bit more to obscure her expression. She doesn't continue, but she isn't being entirely cold either. Isn't my cold then?
I want to be your friend.
Huh?
Obviously not a reply she expected. Caprice lifts her head and studies my face intensely.
For whatever it's worth. All this time I've known both you and Millie. I wish we were better friends. I'm sorry we haven't been.
But I'm not complaining! I think the blue looks great. It's just there's this whole thing where it's always either blue or purple. No, actually it's a purple streak. Sorry, my bad. It's a purple streak that is very prevalent in movies. When someone like changes their hair because I don't know something bad happened or whatever, and they're like, oh, I need a new start. They cut their hair and dye a part of it purple. Or blue. Not as blue as her. But it looks good. Jesus.
Why are you, of all people, apologizing? I was the one who... Just... never mind. It only feels worse to hear you say that. We're only acquaintances, and that's only because you're dating because you're dating Millie.
During Christmas, I was acting as Millie's partner, but We weren't actually together then. I lied to you.
Then, meaning you're together now. Doesn't really matter if it was before the holidays or not if the end is the same, does it? No offense, Olive, but I don't want to be friends just because of that.
Yeah.
If you think you'll help her by being our mediator, it won't. It didn't work for Haley, and we've known her for a whole lot longer than you.
I love Millie. I want her to be happy. But I'm not talking to you because I'm trying to fix her problems. I want to talk to you as a friend. Millie loves you. Even when you're fighting. No one wants you out of their lives. Her least of all.
I don't know how to articulate it. It's a feeling more than anything concrete. A jump of logic born out of the little I know about Caprice and how Christmas went. Hiding in the aquarium, making herself as sparse as possible to friends and family alike, I can only assume she's trying to make less problems for everyone, misguided as it is.
She just wants to talk to you. If you don't want to, that's okay. I just wanted you to know she's here.
Okay, I'll go talk to her.
Aww.
Thank you, Ollie.
Laugh slightly at that, using a nickname I've only heard from my mom. Caprice stretches a bit and adjusts her hat, turning to leave.
Do you want to go alone?
Nah. It'd be nice to have a friend there. For both of us.
Hey, yeah! I turned to follow, but not before noticing the informational sheet for the exhibit, the one Caprice was standing in front of. Only the other. You like her hat? Yeah, she seems like the type of character that you would like, design-wise. Millie sits on a bench nearby where I left her. As we round the corner, she notices out of the corner of her eye and stands, looking even more nervous than before.
Hey, Millie.
Hi, Olive? Caprice?
Olive said you wanted to talk to me.
I do.
Millie takes a long breath, squaring her shoulders back. I take the opportunity to stand somewhat close, but not in the middle, giving them space.
Are you okay?
Okay. No, Mills, I'm not. I've been trying so hard to understand you, and now you want to swoop in and be the good guy?
I'm not trying to...
I did my best. I just wanted to show you that the marriage was going to be a good thing, to show you how happy we could be as a family. Do you know how much it hurts to have your best friend just shut you out of her life?
I'm starting to.
I can't understand what I'm doing wrong if you won't tell me. That's all I wanted. I'm sorry that I'm too much and too excited and too me, but I just wanted you to be happy.
Oh, Caprice, please don't say that. I'm sorry. I don't want you to think that all of this is your fault. I need you to understand that what you were offering me was exactly what I didn't want.
What did you want then?
I needed to be sad, Caprice. I needed to be able to grieve and know that it was okay. Every single time I've brought my mom up, it's like everyone changes the subject just to cheer me up.
I had to, Millie. I had to try to make this work for all of us. I couldn't... Our parents are so happy together. They've sacrificed so much for raising us and always putting us first. Shouldn't they be allowed to be married with us by their side as a family?
We were already a family.
That can't be the only reason.
I didn't want the marriage because I was afraid of replacing the few memories I have left of my mom with yours. I'll never be able to walk into the kitchen and see my mom at the table drinking tea ever again. I'll never be able to come home and have her waiting there for me with a hug. When I realized I couldn't remember details about her anymore, I was scared. With the painting, it made me afraid that everyone else is forgetting her too. It breaks my heart that I love you and Charlie so much. I'm so excited to have you in my life. I want to move forward. It hurts to do that, but I need to feel that pain. I need to accept it. You wanted to protect me from it. I know. It just made it harder for me. Made it all too loud and too much at once. I'm so sorry I didn't have the words for this earlier. You've always been my sister, Caprice. I didn't need you to prove it.
Oh. Caprice clutches her shirt tighter, folding over slightly with each and every word. She opens her mouth to speak several times. Tears spill over. Oh. Carefully, Millie reaches out. Her arms barely touch Caprice's, and then Caprice launches at her sisters, throwing oh my god, I cannot. Her arms barely touch Caprice's, and then Caprice launches at her sister, throwing herself into her arms and hugging as tight as she can.
I'm sorry too.
Millie holds her, and everything she was holding back escapes too, crying into her shoulder. Backlit by the ocean, the two stand there, any other words they could have said melting away. I pick up Caprice's head from the ground and look out into the water. Why is everyone so emotionally capable in this game? Because sometimes you need people who will actually grow and talk it out. We love communication in our visual novel. Time passes. After a few more moments, I hear shuffling as Caprice and Millie separate, sniffling loudly. Aww. Caprice starts looking around the ground, muttering under her breath about her head. Meekly I offer it to her, and she takes it from my hand with a polite smile. With Millie in the middle and Caprice and I on either side, the three of us slowly make our way to the entrance of the aquarium again. Occasionally, one of us stops to comment on a fish or exhibit, a small attempt at finding a footing of normalcy again. The exit in sight makes all three of us come to a stop, standing together.
So, Dad and Charlie wanted to go out to dinner tonight. All together, if you're up for it.
What? Really? I mean, of course I am. Yes, absolutely.
Millie looks over at me, a smile on her face.
You're invited too, of course.
I'll sit this one out, actually. I'm going to see if my mom wants to get dinner together. Let me know how it goes, though.
If you're sure, I think it'll go a lot better than last time, which I'm sorry for again.
I'm sorry again too.
I know, it's just that I kind of started it, so...
But
Maybe you two should take a break in apologies for today.
And to learn to read digital lips. Ha ha ha.
A good point.
Anyway, it wasn't all bad. I got a pretty cool friend out of it all, you know?
You're not enjoying yourself, or it's not like the emotional state you want to be in tonight that has you mute the stream? We shuffle out of the aquarium and into the cold. Or it would be cold. The sun is shining outside, leaving the afternoon surprisingly warm. Grace bounds her head towards Millie's car.
I call shotgun. I haven't had a ride in the old Junie in months.
Old is right. I hope she isn't too excited when she hears how clunky the gear shift is.
I don't think anyone but you would notice that kind of thing.
Do you want to ride?
I'm not sure. I think it'd be good if you two could have some quality time.
We have all the time in the world for that. Oh, and Olive?
Millie takes my hand in hers. She laces our fingers together carefully and one by one. Taking a step closer, she rests her head against mine.
You'll come to the wedding, right? As my +1?
Absolutely! I have to withhold a laugh. Pulling Millie's hand into both of mine, I nod.
I'll be there.
I kiss her, reaching up slightly on my tiptoes to reach
I
her.
love you. We'll see each other later, right?
Of course.
Hand in hand, we head towards the car where Caprice waves at us from the passenger seat. It would be wrong to say everything is fine now, that the two won't have more work ahead of themselves, more work to understand one another better. Millie is right though, they have all the time in the world. There are many more days ahead of happiness and love to be shared, many nights of tears and struggles. As friends, as sisters, as family, I know they'll make it through. All of us will face tomorrow in our own ways, at our own pace. Thank you for the extra time. And the postage check. And pets. Do it later. Setting sun cast long shadows as I head out of the sciences building, starting a long walk to the bike rack. The morning's frightfully cold chill has given way to a mild, cold afternoon, all the better for the ride home. The last few days have been chaotic in a way I thought I'd left behind once I'd finished my exams. Everything is out of my control, but oddly enough, it feels like that's for the best. Groups of students chat happily around me. It feels like a weight has been lifted off everyone's shoulders, with the end of college now in sight for those of us in our final semester. I wish I could say I feel sure of what's going to happen next, but I can't. Yet, I'm a little more comfortable with that than I used to be. For stepping out of education into the real world once felt like an event horizon I couldn't see past. Now I realize there's plenty of others going through just the same thing. As I pass the parking lot, I spot an unfamiliar sight of Millie leaning against her car, checking her phone for one reason or another. Boo. I've been giving Millie some space since she moved back in with Caprice and Haley, but it's good to see her again. I approach with a wave as she puts her phone away and she's quick to return the gesture.
Fancy seeing you here. Waiting for the others?
Caprice has got her club today, so just Haley.
It's only been a couple days, earning a snort of amusement from her. I'm just glad to see her smiling, no matter how small it may be.
Enjoying the quiet back at home again?
It's been fine, but I have to admit I missed my old roommate a bit.
I'm sure she'd be happy to visit. All you'd have to do is ask.
I was talking about Mo.
She gives me a comically over-exaggerated pout, but it quickly melts away as she leans in for a quick kiss. When she pulls away, she removes her glasses and produces a cleaning cloth from her coat pocket.
How's life back at the apartment anyway? Been going okay?
Been eating something aside from pasta?
I wish I could say it was like I never left, but after so long, you definitely feel like a stranger in your own home sometimes.
She finishes wiping down her glasses, placing them back on. Cloth still in hand, she gestures for my glasses next.
Yours got fogged up too, don't even pretend otherwise.
Unable to think of a counter-argument, in the 3 or so seconds she allows me, I hand them over without a word of protest.
We're going to be okay. Finally having everyone on the same page has done a lot, but we still have some lingering awkwardness to get through.
She finishes her cleaning, gently placing my glasses back on for me. The first thing I see with my newfound clarity is a soft smile.
That's good to hear. I've been worried. I know it was your idea to dissolve it, but the club was a pretty recent wound, so...
Tanya's been messaging me constantly to make sure I'm alright.
Seems like a Tanya thing to do. She played it off as best as she could at the time, but she does care about Millie. It's good she has someone like that in her life.
We'll have to meet up with her more often. Maybe even do an official send-off for the club.
She gives a quick nod to the idea. There's a certain wistfulness behind her smile, but with Tanya and I around, I know she'll be okay.
Either way, that's the story of the writing club.
You and your bittersweet endings.
What can I say? They're my favorite kind to write.
Hey, sorry if this is weird or forward to say,
But
I'm really happy to see things working out for you again. You deserve it.
Dawn's words hit home for her, pressing her lips tightly to steady herself as she silently nods.
I think she would have liked you.
Huh? Who?
My mum.
Mom.
Yeah? What makes you think that?
A hunch.
She smiles a wide smile, and what a smile it is. It makes all my worries about the future disappear. I'm not sure exactly what lies ahead of me, but I know now that I'll have her beside me for whatever might come.
Do you want to ride home today?
I'd love to, but I've got a couple small errands to run. I wouldn't want you to ferry me around.
We should make some plans to get together for the weekend then. I haven't exactly been the most romantic the last few days.
You've been fine. Better than fine.
Just in love. I'm really quite awful, you know.
Oh yeah, the worst.
It's so cute. She giggles and pulls me in for a parting kiss.
Well, every good story does need an antagonist, after all.
Oh, look at the lovebirds. They can't keep their hands off each other.
Caprice bounces out of the entrance, making a kissy face and obnoxious wet noises to accompany it. Haley's following not far behind, smartly keeping her distance. Millie flowers into a scarlet blush.
What do you want, Caprice?
2 things. 1, to brag about how I am, once again, the ultimate matchmaker.
What? You had absolutely nothing to do with...
And 2, to ask you two where you think you're going.
Home was the plan, as soon as Haley showed up.
Haley doesn't react to her name in the slightest, to absolutely no one's surprise. Millie looks to me for confirmation.
A quick grocery run and then home for me too.
And how exactly do you expect the art club to function without its co-lead and her partner in crime?
Oh, what now? Millie looks just as puzzled as me, clearly getting no answers there. I turn to Haley instead, who shrugs.
Turns out I'm part of the art club, as of 10 minutes ago.
Oh boy.
I appreciate the gesture, but I'm not much of an artist, I'm afraid.
It's a broad spectrum. Creative writing falls under the umbrella easy peasy.
Well,
Culinary arts.
She had that locked and loaded, huh?
She pulled the same thing on me if it makes you feel better.
I figured it was something like that, yeah.
It's sweet of you, Caprice, really, but you don't have to...
Millie, if you're gonna let me into your family, then at least let me share mine with you too. Please?
The three of us look to Millie for her answer. She knows that I'll follow her no matter what her decision may be.
Meet you there.
Caprice looks like she's about to explode in excitement as her smile triples in size.
Okay, yes, take your time. Come on, Haley, we gotta let the others know.
Hold on,
Before Haley can finish, Caprice runs off in a mad sprint. With a heavy sigh, Haley turns to Millie, an out-of-character smile replacing a typical resting neutral face.
There's really no stopping her when she gets an idea in her head.
It's one of my favorite things about her.
Yeah, same.
Haley, you're taking forever!
Caprice shouts across the campus, jogging in place like she's training for a triathlon.
Better get going. See you in a few.
Yeah, see you soon.
And with that, she turns to follow her friend at the same slow pace she originally met us with.
I'm not running, Caprice.
We stand there for a while until both are out of sight, whether due to hesitation or simply trying to process the conversations that just happened is something only Millie really knows.
So, ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Graduation might be just around the corner, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, it looks like another chapter in our lives is just starting. Woo!
The weather's warming finally. Do you want to walk with me? It feels like it's been a while since I've seen us really smile. I'm glad to have you here again. My greatest love, my bestest friend.
Don't give Mr. Mo treats. He's tired. He's tired.
Tracing footsteps left in the snow. Someday soon we'll melt away.
Oh my god.
You here will find our way. It'll take
Oh, what a lovely username. Bird lover. Adi Rosa. Yeah, there's exactly one name on that list that I actually recognize. Time in this meeting. Prologue scripting.
Sometimes we need to step away. So fold the page and save your place.
For full sound effect credits, please refer to as of xcredits.txt. That's fair. Valid. That's so valid. Oh. Story club?
Winter's dragged on forever. Let's make spring last
And then I'll
podcast. We've made it through to its embrace.
Casting in its Studio Cote. Additional voices. Milo is Mr. Mo, or an actual cat.
I'll take your worries with warmth to spare. We're almost there. We'll be just fine.
Wedding dress. Oh, trying on the wedding dress. Hell yeah.
Let's try having fun today.
Yeah, Studio Bellows Publishing.
Step away. Here's a canvas from last summer, beaten and torn, begging for color. Creases, tears, and rips and stains are signs of love and memories made. I may slow down, you'll march ahead, or need a sec to catch your breath. But I'm not worried, we'll both be on time.
The little bracelets. Both of the colors, that's... Oh, you can't see it, but... There's... someone calling. Oh. Hey. Oh, they're so fucking cute. After credit scene? Yes. Of course there is. 2 months later. The myriad of colors presented by the flowers and trees mixed with the smell of freshly cut grass, it painted a picture of a perfect spring day, all apart from the dreary winter that only recently made its long overdue exit.
Where could they be?
Olive shoved the phone back into the pocket for the 3rd time in the past half hour. Four had agreed to meet early, but as the seconds continued to tick by, Olive was losing more and more confidence in that happening. Elsewhere, the sisters were still getting ready.
Going to be late.
Haley shouted down the hall with only the muffled sounds of her roommates finishing their preparations answering her. In the dressing room, Caprice's foot tapped in hurried anticipation.
Is it almost done?
Millie continued to fiddle with her hair.
You're not exactly giving me a lot to work with here.
Millie sighed, letting another failed attempt fall from her hands. Caprice's last-minute request was a surprise, but one Millie was more than happy to honor. A simple braid in her hair, a small reminder of Adelaide to bring along to the wedding. A style Millie proudly wore for just over a year, and one she decided to wear today again as well. Caprice's hair, however, was not as eager to cooperate with the request, its length proving an impossible hurdle to overcome. Millie was all too aware of the time continuing to pass them by, and with a frustrated sigh admitted defeat. The original plan wasn't going to happen, but she was determined to do something, if only to justify all the time spent on it this morning. One more try, this time much smaller in size, tied across her hat rather than hanging loose. It wasn't what she wanted, but it was better than nothing.
What do you think?
Millie raised a small mirror in front of Caprice, half hoping she simply wouldn't answer.
It's perfect!
Caprice jumped to her feet and hugged her sister tightly, leaving Millie no time to process her response.
Really?
What do you mean, really? It's a nice small reminder, but it still feels like me.
Millie returned Caprice's hug, holding her close for all but a moment before setting her loose.
I'm ready to go if you are.
Millie returned her eyes to the mirror still in her hands, the large braid she had become so accustomed to tying every day taking her closer to view. Time was of the essence, they were already running late, and yet...
I need a few more minutes if that's okay. Let Haley know I won't be long.
A few minutes passed, and a few more. Olive had shifted from a mild annoyance to a deep concern. Why would they be taking this long? Did something happen? Did Millie lose her nerves? Surely if something bad had happened, Haley would have let them know by now.
Done deal!
Oh! A small pat on the back was enough for Olive to be jolted back to reality and their heart to jump into their throat. Olive didn't need to turn around to place the voice, but after waiting for so long, they wanted a confirmation. Sure enough, Caprice was there to greet them with Haley besides. Yo.
Where were you? I was really starting to get worried.
Don't look at me. I've been waiting for a while.
Haley replied with a shrug. Olive turned to Caprice for an explanation, who responded with a sheepish grin.
Oh, you know how things go sometimes. The point is, we're all here now. right on time.
The timing Caprice posted about was debatable, Olive thought. Actually, that wasn't the only thing.
If everyone's here, where's Millie?
Talk of the wedding had been more frequent from her these past few weeks. Olive hoped that meant she would show today, but they had also been preparing for the worst. Caprice's unwavering smile was early evidence that they had nothing to worry about. As if on cue, Millie emerged from the modest crowd, greeting Olive with a small hug.
Sorry, I was just putting some things away and locking the car up.
Her tone was flustered, and Olive knew her well enough to expect her to play with her braid as she tried to right herself afterward. If it was still there, that is. While the braid remained in her hair, it was now just a small strand, the rest of her hair now free to instead be tied in the back with a simple pin.
You look great.
Aww. As a smile found its way back to Olive's face, Millie averted her eyes as a blush started to form on hers.
You think so? I struggled a lot with the hair. I was thinking of wearing it like this from now on, actually.
It suits you perfectly. Don't change a thing.
Millie had her doubts. It may have suited her in this moment, but as she had come to realize, change was an inevitable thing. So long wearing the same style and feeling the same feelings, what would suit her best once this moment had passed and Millie had to focus on herself again? Something more comfortable, maybe. As the four finished their greetings and shuffled to find their seats, Millie played with her braid for the only time that day. Adelaide's presence in her life may be smaller than before, but it was still there, and that was enough. The endless cold and cloudy days, the start of a new chapter was penned underneath a pristine blue sky. Two women started the day as friends and ended it as sisters. Separate yet undeniably together, the stories were written on opposite sides of the same piece of paper. Aww. Something old, something new. Finish Millie's epilogue. You've unlocked the following extras. Spring UI theme. Scene collect and a CG gallery. Thank you for playing. We hope you consider joining the art club next. Ah, and now we have the flower here on the main screen. That's cool. I wonder if they want me to start from a new game or if I'm allowed to just load up my save state. Ah, I see. Oh, we'll find that out next time. Oh, that's nice. I love the little scene at the end. Oh. Prologue and all of Millie's. Cool. Oh, yeah. And you can see who the artist is as well. H to toggle the UI. Ah. Oh. Oh, cool. Oh. Well, that's our first route done then. This means, technically just for like 100% thingy, I'd have to go hang out with the other writing club members as well, and like run through the whole story again just to see their events. So Heather and Darren. I'm not doing that right now. I'm not gonna do that right now because that would mean skipping everything else and then just reading like those, I don't know, 5 or however many events they get. But next time we're gonna join the art club. Next time we're gonna do the other route and see what plays out differently there. This is nice though. I'm gonna end it early though. I don't wanna start the other one because I know we won't have enough time to actually really get going there. We're gonna do that next time. Speaking of which, next week will be pretty sparse when it comes to streams because I have a lot of Family stuff happening, so I don't know how many streams I'll actually be able to put out, but weekend definitely. During the week, not so much. But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. Let's switch over. This feels good. It's a very, very feel-good game for me. I'm not gonna lie. I know some pretty heavy topics dealing with grieving for a loved one, moving on, learning how to move on. But it is very much a feel-good game for me. I'm very happy we're playing it. But yeah, I'm gonna take this chance to send you guys over to our favorite pink-haired cat girl. Hehe. Who's playing Outer Wilds. I've only heard good thing about Outer Wilds. So I'm always happy when people play it, and I even though I still don't understand what is happening there at all whatsoever. Cut the time, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to the stream tonight, everyone. I'll see you all next week. I'll post a schedule in a bit. Have a good night, and bye bye. Bye bye bye.